Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Alex, by the way. It's great to finally connect.
Alex, it's a pleasure. I'm Sarah. I've been looking forward to this. I hope we can really get into some interesting discussions.
Absolutely. To kick things off, I was thinking we could start with something universally engaging hobbies. Do you have any particular passions or activities you dedicate your free time to?
That's a fantastic idea to break the ice. Yes, I certainly do. My main hobby, or rather my passion, is hiking. I try to get out into nature at least once a week, weather permitting. It's incredibly rejuvenating.
Hiking? That's wonderful. What is it about hiking that appeals to you so much? Is it the physical challenge, the scenery, or something else entirely?
It's a multifaceted appeal, really. The physical exertion is certainly a factor. It keeps me active. But more than that, it's the profound sense of tranquility I find in nature. There's something almost ephemeral about the beauty of a mountain vista at sunrise or the quiet rustle of leaves in an ancient forest. It helps me clear my head and gain perspective.
I can completely relate to that. The feeling of being immersed in nature, away from the hustle and bustle, is unparalleled. Do you prefer challenging trails or more leisurely strolls?
I lean towards challenging trails, honestly. The more rugged the terrain, the more rewarding the summit feels. There's a sense of accomplishment when you've navigated a difficult path and reached a breathtaking viewpoint. How about you, Alex? Do you have any hobbies that offer a similar escape or challenge?
My primary hobby is photography, particularly landscape and wildlife photography. It often goes hand in hand with exploring natural environments, so I share that appreciation for the outdoors. I find it incredibly rewarding to capture the fleeting moments of beauty in nature, much like your appreciation for ephemeral vistas.
Photography, that's fascinating. So, when you're out hiking, do you find yourself constantly looking for that perfect shot? Do you ever feel like you're missing out on the experience by focusing too much on the lens?
That's a very perceptive question. It's a balance I constantly strive for. There are times when I have to consciously put the camera down and simply absorb the moment, but often the act of framing a shot, of really observing the light and composition, actually deepens my appreciation for the scene. It forces me to notice details I might otherwise overlook.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like a form of mindful engagement, really. How long have you been pursuing photography, and what initially drew you to it?
I've been serious about it for about 10 years now. I initially picked up a camera during a trip abroad, hoping to capture memories, but I quickly realized it was more than just documentation. It was a way to express creativity and see the world through a different lens, quite literally. It became a way to articulate my experiences without words.
That's a beautiful way to put it. So, speaking of trips abroad, does your photography hobby often take you to new countries? Travel is another topic that almost everyone enjoys discussing.
It certainly does. Travel is an indispensable part of my photographic journey. I've been fortunate enough to visit some truly incredible places, from the rugged coastlines of Ireland to the vibrant markets of Morocco. Each destination offers unique light, culture, and subjects. What about you, Sarah? Do you have a favorite travel memory or a dream destination?
Oh, absolutely. My most cherished travel memory was from a solo backpacking trip through Southeast Asia a few years ago. The sheer diversity of landscapes, the warmth of the people, and the explosion of flavors in the food were just staggering. If I had to pick a dream destination, it would be Patagonia. The photographs I've seen of its dramatic mountains and glaciers are simply mesmerizing.
Patagonia is an excellent choice. The sheer scale of its natural beauty is legendary. What do you typically look for when you visit a foreign country? Is it the historical sites, the natural wonders, or perhaps the local cuisine and culture?
It's definitely a blend of all those elements, but I'd say the local cuisine and cultural immersion are paramount for me. I love trying authentic dishes, visiting local markets, and engaging with the community. It's how you truly get a feel for a place rather than just scratching the surface as a tourist.
I couldn't agree more. Food is such an integral part of understanding a culture. It's a universal language in a way. Do you enjoy cooking yourself, or are you more of an adventurous eater when you travel?
I absolutely love to cook. It's another one of my hobbies, actually. I find it incredibly therapeutic to experiment with new recipes and ingredients. When I travel, I often try to take a cooking class or learn a traditional dish from a local. It's a way to bring a piece of that culture back home with me.
That's fantastic. What kind of cuisine do you enjoy cooking the most? And do you ever find yourself trying to recreate dishes you've tasted during your travels?
I'm quite versatile in the kitchen, but I have a soft spot for Mediterranean and Asian flavors. And yes, absolutely, recreating dishes from my travels is a constant challenge and joy. Sometimes I hit the nail on the head, and other times, well, let's just say it's a learning experience. But it's always fun.
I imagine the ingredients can be quite different too, making it a real culinary adventure. Do you have a signature dish that you're particularly proud of?
I'd say my homemade pasta is something I'm quite proud of. It's a labor of love, but the taste and texture are incomparable to store-bought. What about you, Alex? Are you much of a cook, or do you prefer to dine out?
I enjoy cooking, but I'm far from a gourmet chef. I tend to stick to simpler, wholesome meals. I find it a good way to unwind after a long day. However, I'm always open to trying new restaurants and cuisines, especially when traveling. It's part of the adventure.
That makes sense. Cooking can certainly be a relaxing ritual. Speaking of long days, let's transition a bit. What kind of work do you do, Alex? Most of us spend a significant portion of our lives working, so it's often a topic with a lot to say.
I work as a data analyst for a tech company. It's a role that requires a lot of problem solving and attention to detail. I find it intellectually stimulating, though it can be quite demanding at times. What about your professional life, Sarah?
I'm an environmental consultant. My work involves advising organizations on sustainable practices and helping them minimize their ecological footprint. It's a field I'm deeply passionate about, as it aligns with my personal values regarding nature and conservation.
That sounds incredibly impactful and rewarding. It must be gratifying to know your work contributes to a more sustainable future. Is your job demanding in terms of travel or workload?
It can be, yes. There's a fair bit of travel to client sites, which I don't mind given my love for exploring. The workload can also be intense, especially when deadlines loom. But the satisfaction of seeing positive changes implemented makes it all worthwhile.
I can appreciate that. The sense of purpose can certainly outweigh the challenges. Do you ever feel like you're on thin ice when presenting potentially disruptive environmental recommendations to clients who might be resistant to change?
That's a very apt way to put it. Sometimes, yes, there's a delicate balance between advocating for what's necessary and ensuring the recommendations are pragmatic and implementable for the client. It often involves a lot of negotiation and finding common ground.
That sounds like a true test of communication and diplomacy. Given the demands of your work, how do you manage your time effectively? Time is a topic that becomes increasingly important as we get older.
Time management is crucial. I've learned to prioritize ruthlessly and delegate where possible. I also make sure to block out time for my hobbies like hiking and cooking, as they're essential for my mental well-being and preventing burnout. It's about creating a sustainable rhythm.
That's a very sensible approach. It highlights the importance of not biting off more than you can chew in terms of commitments. Do you ever feel like time is wasted, or do you try to make every moment count?
I try to make every moment count, but I'm also realistic. There are certainly times when I feel like I've wasted time, perhaps scrolling aimlessly on social media or procrastinating. But I try not to dwell on it. Instead, I focus on learning from those instances and being more intentional with my time going forward.
That's a very pragmatic outlook. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of maximizing every minute, but sometimes a bit of downtime, even if it feels unproductive, is necessary. What truly motivates you to do things, both in your professional and personal life?
Professionally, it's the desire to make a tangible difference in environmental conservation. Personally, it's the pursuit of new experiences and continuous learning. I'm motivated by growth, whether it's mastering a new cooking technique or reaching a niche summit. What about you, Alex? What drives you?
For me, it's the challenge of solving complex problems and the satisfaction of seeing data transform into actionable insights. In my personal life, it's a blend of curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge. I'm always looking to learn something new, whether it's a new skill or understanding a different culture.
That's a great motivator. It sounds like you enjoy taking on new challenges. Are you generally a risk taker, or are you more risk averse in your life and career?
That's an interesting question. I'd say I'm a calculated risk taker. I believe in looking before you leap, assessing the potential downsides, but I'm not afraid to step outside my comfort zone if the potential reward is significant. For instance, moving to a new city for my current job was a risk.
I admire that. I tend to be more risk averse, especially when it comes to major life decisions. I prefer a more predictable path. However, I do take small risks, like trying an exotic dish in a foreign country or attempting a particularly difficult hiking trail. Those feel more manageable.
That's perfectly understandable. Everyone has a different risk tolerance. Speaking of broader topics, what are your thoughts on current environmental problems? Your work as a consultant must give you a unique perspective.
It certainly does. The elephant in the room is undoubtedly climate change. It's a colossal challenge, and while individual actions are important, systemic changes are absolutely crucial. Pollution, deforestation, and biodiversity loss are also pressing issues that demand immediate attention.
It's disheartening to see the scale of these problems. Do you believe governments and corporations are doing enough, or do you think there's a significant gap between rhetoric and action?
I think there's a noticeable gap, unfortunately. While there's increasing awareness and some positive initiatives, the pace of change often feels too slow. It's a complex web of economic interests, political will, and public pressure. We need more collective action and less procrastination.
I agree. It feels like we're often playing catch-up. On a related note, how do you view the role of technology and social networks in addressing or exacerbating these issues? They're ubiquitous in our lives now.
That's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, social networks can be powerful tools for raising awareness, mobilizing action, and sharing information about environmental issues. They can connect people globally and amplify voices.
That's true. The ability to disseminate information rapidly is a huge advantage.
On the other hand, they can also be platforms for misinformation, echo chambers, and superficial engagement. There's also the environmental footprint of the technology itself, the energy consumption of data centers, for example. It's a complex relationship.
It sounds like a situation where the devil's in the details. The potential is there, but the execution and ethical considerations are paramount. Do you think people use social networks for bad purposes more often than good?
I wouldn't say more often, but the negative aspects can certainly be more prominent and damaging. Cyberbullying, the spread of fake news, and the erosion of privacy are serious concerns. However, I believe the potential for positive connection and information sharing still outweighs the negatives, provided we use them responsibly.
That's a fair assessment. It comes down to individual responsibility and digital literacy. Shifting gears slightly, what kind of music do you enjoy, Sarah? Music often evokes strong emotions and is a great conversation starter.
I have quite an eclectic taste, actually. I enjoy everything from classical music for relaxation to indie rock for energy. But if I had to pick a favorite genre, it would be jazz. There's something so sophisticated and improvisational about it that I find captivating. How about you, Alex?
I'm a big fan of classic rock and blues. There's a raw authenticity to those genres that I find really compelling. I also appreciate how music can transport you to a different time or place. Do you find certain types of music make you feel a particular way?
Absolutely. Classical music makes me feel calm and focused, almost meditative. Jazz often inspires creativity and a sense of cool sophistication. And pop music, well, That's usually for when I just want to let loose and have fun. It's amazing how deeply music can affect our mood.
It truly is. It can be a powerful motivator or a soothing balm. Have you ever been to a live concert that really left a lasting impression on you?
Oh, definitely. I saw a small jazz ensemble perform in a cozy club once, and it was pure magic. The musicians were so in sync, and the energy in the room was palpable. It was one of those once in a blue moon experiences that you cherish forever.
That sounds incredible. Live music has a unique energy that recordings can't quite capture. Do you think it's important for people to have a diverse range of interests like music, hobbies, and travel to lead a fulfilling life?
I wholeheartedly believe so. Having diverse interests enriches your life in so many ways. It exposes you to different perspectives, helps you develop new skills, and provides avenues for relaxation and personal growth. It prevents life from becoming monotonous.
I couldn't agree more. A life solely focused on work, for example, can become quite bland and unfulfilling. It's about striking a balance. Do you have any plans for the upcoming holidays? Perhaps something that combines your interests?
I'm actually looking forward to a short trip to a national park. I'm hoping to do some challenging hikes and capture some stunning landscape photographs. It's a chance to kill two birds with one stone, enjoy nature, and practice my photography. What about you, Alex? Any exciting plans?
That sounds like a perfect blend of your passions. I'm planning a more relaxed holiday, spending time with family and catching up on some reading. I'm also looking forward to experimenting with some new cooking recipes, perhaps trying to recreate a dish I tasted during my last trip to Italy.
Ooh, Italy. That sounds wonderful. Any particular dish you're aiming for?
I'm going to attempt a traditional Roman carbonara. It seems deceptively simple, but getting the texture and flavor just right is a true art. I've been watching a lot of videos and reading up on it.
That's ambitious. I wish you the best of luck. It's always rewarding when you master a new culinary skill. Do you find that learning new things, whether it's a cooking technique or a new concept at work, is a continuous process for you?
Absolutely. I believe that live and learn is a mantra we should all embrace. The world is constantly evolving, and staying curious and open to new knowledge is essential. It's what keeps life interesting and prevents stagnation.
I couldn't agree more. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. It applies to everything, from personal development to understanding complex global issues.
Indeed, it reminds me of the importance of being resourceful and problem solving, not just in my work as an analyst, but in everyday life. When faced with an unexpected challenge, finding creative solutions is key.
That's a valuable trait. It's about adapting and not being easily deterred. Do you ever find yourself getting irritated by certain inefficiencies or illogical processes, given your analytical background?
Sometimes, yes. My analytic mind tends to spot inefficiencies quite readily, and it can be a bit irritating when things aren't streamlined. But I try to channel that into constructive suggestions rather than just complaining.
That's a very positive approach. It's easy to just complain, but much harder to offer solutions. Do you think that kind of analytical thinking helps you in other areas of your life, outside of work?
I believe it does. It helps me approach personal decisions more logically, weigh pros and cons, and avoid making rash choices. It's about applying a pragmatic lens to various situations.
That makes perfect sense. It's about having a structured way of thinking. Do you ever find yourself playing devil's advocate in discussions just to explore different perspectives?
Occasionally, yes. Not to be contrary, but to genuinely understand the full spectrum of an argument. It helps to uncover potential weaknesses or alternative viewpoints that might otherwise be overlooked. It's a way to ensure a more robust understanding.
I appreciate that. It can be incredibly helpful in reaching a more comprehensive conclusion. It's about looking at all angles. What are your thoughts on modern communication, especially with the prevalence of instant messaging and video calls? Do you think it has made us more connected or more isolated?
That's a profound question. On one hand, it's undeniably made us more connected globally.
I can easily communicate with friends and family across different continents, which is something that would have cost an arm and a leg just a decade ago. It breaks down geographical barriers.
That's a huge advantage, especially for maintaining long-distance relationships.
On the other hand, I sometimes feel it has led to a certain superficiality in interactions. We might have hundreds of online connections, but are we truly having deep, meaningful conversations? Sometimes I think the constant digital noise makes it harder to focus on genuine human connection.
I completely agree. It's a bit of a paradox. We're constantly bombarded with information, but the quality of communication can suffer. It's like comparing apples to oranges when you compare a quick text to a face-to-face conversation.
Precisely. There's a nuance and depth to in-person interaction that's often lost in digital exchanges. Nonverbal cues, for example, are so important. Do you find yourself consciously trying to limit your screen time or engage in more traditional forms of communication?
Yes, I do. I've started setting boundaries for myself, especially around social media. I try to prioritize phone calls or even handwritten letters for close friends and family. There's a certain charm and thoughtfulness to those methods that can't be replicated by a quick message.
I admire that. It's a conscious effort to reclaim a sense of presence in a hyper-connected world. It's about taking it with a grain of salt, not letting technology completely dictate our interactions.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance that serves you, rather than letting technology become a distraction. So, Alex, looking ahead, what's something you're really looking forward to in the near future, either personally or professionally?
Professionally, I'm excited about a new project at work that involves machine learning. It's a complex undertaking, but the potential for innovation is immense. Personally, I'm looking forward to a photography workshop I've signed up for. It's a chance to refine my skills and learn from experienced professionals.
That sounds incredibly stimulating on both fronts. It's wonderful to have things to anticipate. For me, I'm really looking forward to a long-planned hiking trip to the Dolomites. It's been on my bucket list for years, and the thought of those majestic peaks fills me with elation.
The Dolomites are breathtaking. I've seen photographs, and they are truly a landmark of natural beauty. I hope you capture some incredible moments, both with your camera and in your memory.
Thank you, Alex. I certainly intend to, and I hope your carbonara turns out perfectly. It's been a truly engaging and enriching conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed our discussion across such a wide range of topics.
The pleasure has been all mine, Sarah. This has been a fantastic practice in navigating various conversational threads naturally. I feel like we've covered the whole 9 yards of everyday topics, and then some.
Indeed, it's been a great way to explore different perspectives and practice expressing complex ideas. Thank you for this stimulating chat.
You're very welcome. Until next time.
Take care, Alex.